Okay, some concluding thoughts on the Retrospective 5 from Think Tank. I found while trying out different configurations that it's a very high quality bag. As I said in the overview, the materials are top-notch. There's no doubt about it. I would say that it's of a higher overall quality than, say, Domke's. But there's a different philosophy going on here. I was trying to think of an analogy, and the best I can do is that Think Tank has designed a toolbox with sort of a more specific thought about what you should use various parts of the bag for, and Domke, for example, is more like a bucket you throw your gear into with some dividers. Now that may sound like, wow, the Think Tank is the right one and the Domke is wrong. That's not what I would say. I would say that they meet the needs of two different types of photographers. If you are a neatnik and you like to really have a lot of very specific places to put your stuff, Think Tank has put an awful lot of thought into that, and I applaud that. I think it's great. This bag is full of thoughtful features. On the flip side, there's a trade-off. For example, and I mentioned this in the overview, these nice rain protectors, so they're a nice thing to have. The problem is they kind of get in the way. So if you want a quick draw type of bag, depending on how you set this up in here, you may or may not get that out of it. If I limited the bag to 2 Leicas with lenses mounted, with just one divider in the center, it was pretty good. You could draw the camera right out and put it right back in, no real friction or interference. On the other hand, there's really no extra space to put a lens in this section anyway. And I demonstrated how you could probably get some lenses in, and it was kind of a torture test because I used a very large lens, this Voigtlander, to do that. I feel like you wouldn't be able to do that with any larger system camera, like a digital camera that has autofocus and image stabilization. There's the zipper in here, which, it zips up a nice compartment, but the slider of the zipper gets in the way depending on how you load your camera in here. So you can work around it, but it's one of those things I personally wouldn't want to have to work around. So it's all these doodads, which are very thoughtful and well designed, that kind of get in the way of the bucket style. And so as an example of what I consider the bucket style of bag, I'll just pull this Domke up here. The Domke honestly feels like a toy after the Think Tank. So that's how much I think of the construction quality and the materials on the Think Tank. On the other hand, now I admit that the Domke has this zipper which takes away some of the bucketness of it, but this is it. I mean, that's all there is in this thing. So you can throw a manual in the front. This is just the padding, and there's just a gap there. You throw a manual in there, but there's no sort of features in here to get in the way of just putting a camera in and taking it out. The Domke just has a very simple front pocket. Anyway, you can see there's just kind of a minimalist bucket style, and then Think Tank has kind of taken this maximal, super well thought out, super well constructed, sort of gets in its own way a little bit depending on your needs, style of bag. Here's another comparison between the Think Tank Retrospective 5 and another Domke bag. I mentioned it before, the F10, and use it as a comparison. They're roughly the same size. I'd say the F10 is just the slightest amount bigger. It's a little hard to measure because of the shape of the F10. Anyway, this to me is a perfect example of a bucket style bag. There's nothing in here to get in the way of putting a camera in, taking it out, but there's also nothing in here other than this little zippered compartment up here and a big compartment in the front. There's nothing to help you organize your stuff particularly much. So you kind of have to decide which is better for you. So That being said, thanks for watching, and thank you Think Tank for giving me this opportunity. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.